just cheating. Woohoo!
Damn it!
Yo, it seems that your boy Saul Canelo Alvarez is back on his ultimate duck tour. And what better way to do that than fight Edgar Berlanga? Yes, y'all. Saul Canelo Alvarez is looking to fight Edgar Berlanga September 14th at the T-Mobile Arena. Your source for this is Mike Coppinger from ESPN. Now, I would love to see what excuse y'all gonna pull out y'all behinds with this one. Cause boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, isn't this fascinating? Now, look, here's the thing. I'm going to say how I feel, and I'm going to say why I feel how I feel. 1, 2, 3. He's been a duck. He's always been a duck, and this is nothing surprising. If you are surprised about this, well, you must be a newborn, or you must be born under the rock. This is not the first time he has maneuvered around David Benavidez. If anything, I've lost count myself. Damn it, I stopped counting at the 5 times. Damn, that's a long time to duck a fighter. Do you know that is a long time to duck a fighter? Now look, this ain't no hate or shame towards Edgar Berlanga. Get your money. But wouldn't it be better to see Edgar Berlanga and David Morrell on a Puerto Rican card with Amanda Serrano as a co-main? That would be great, wouldn't it be? No. You remember who have you fought? What happened to the statement? And I'm gonna pass this over to Mario because I'm sure he got a lot he got to get off his chest. What happened to the statement? You guys don't fight each other. Can somebody please tell me who in the blue hell has Edgar Berlanga fight? I'll wait. Who has he fought? Who has he fought? Don't he want a payday too? Because that's what you said about the rest of them. Payday. You want payday. I know that. What the hell is Edgar Berlanga? What is John Ryder? Huh? I clear for everything on life. If any one of you Canelo fans come in this chat with the BS excuses, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear nothing about the sniffles, the sneezes, none of that stupid excuses y'all be trying to make up. They don't fight each other. Woo. Who has he fought? Tell me, who has Edgar Berlanga fought to guarantee him this opportunity? Please, I wait. This is just ridiculous. This is disgraceful. I don't even know why the hell. Look, Mario, you take it from here because I'm saying some crazy stuff. Mario, you take it from here.
I'm not shocked. That's the first thing. I'm not shocked that he's facing Edgar Berlanga because there was like a little when he accepted the fight with Jaime Munguia, there was a thing that came out saying that Canelo was going to fight Jaime Munguia and then he was going to fight Edgar Berlanga. Those were going to be the two guys that he was going to fight. Now, I'm not going to lie to y'all. I mess with Edgar Berlanga heavy. You know, when he was coming up as a prospect, when he was getting all those knockouts, I was messing with Edgar Berlanga heavy. And Edgar Berlanga, don't get me wrong, he's not a scrub. You know, I think Edgar Berlanga is a lot better than what a lot of people give him credit for. However, let's be real. I mean, he's fought some okay opponents, okay? Alexis Aguero, Padraig McCrory, Jason Quigley. But let's be real. Do those three guys justify Edgar Berlanga getting an undisputed 168-pound title shot? Absolutely not. Not one bit, okay? In all seriousness, Breezy's right. We would love to see that Puerto Rican card. We would love to see him versus David Morrell. As a matter of fact, him and David Morrell, I'm pretty sure they had beef in the past. So why didn't that fight happen? Who knows? And like Breezy said, we're not mad at Edgar Berlanga for trying to chase a payday. Go get that bag. Go get that payday. But to Canelo Alvarez, there is a guy named David Benavidez, and I just want to know why that fight hasn't happened yet. You know, I'm all ears. I really am, because that's a fight that needs to happen. It's okay. Look, all you have to say is, I don't want to fight David Benavidez. That's it. But the fact that you keep saying you want to fight David Benavidez, and the fact that you keep on making every single excuse in the book not to fight David Benavidez, it's ridiculous. Now, I'm one of those guys who think Canelo Alvarez is going to beat David Benavidez if he fights him, so might as well just make it happen. You fight David Benavidez and we're done. There's not a single thing anybody can say. But the fact that this fight has still been lingering for the past, what, 2 to 3 years? It's getting ridiculous now. It's probably been longer than 2 or 3 years, but it's getting ridiculous now, okay? Here's the thing. This is going to be happening around Mexican Independence Weekend. But the problem with that is this. Edgar Berlanga is not the best fight to happen on this week, around that weekend. It's not. Okay? You could have fought anybody. You could have fought a lot of guys besides Edgar Berlanga. For instance, David Benavidez is one of them. You could have fought Edgar Berlanga first and then challenged Jaime Munguia. Now, we would have still called you a duck, but that would have made more sense on Mexican Independence Weekend. And last but not least, the fact that Canelo Alvarez's fights continuously happen in Las Vegas is getting ridiculous. Go back to Mexico and fight in your home crowd. I don't understand. This is a lot of things. There's a lot of problems I have with this fight besides the fact that it's Edgar Berlanga. It's the fact that this has not been made correctly at all. So my reaction to this is it's ridiculous. Now, I really do like Edgar Berlanga. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe when the fight starts, I'm gonna be cheering for Edgar Berlanga. Because I've been following him for the longest time. I was a big fan of him when he was getting all those consecutive knockouts in a row. I mean, at one point, the guy was 16-0 with 16 knockouts. You got to respect it. But then he started going on a bunch of decision wins, and then he started kind of he picked up the knockout against McCrory. So, I mean, the guy's 22-0, and that's great and all, but he's not ready. And on top of that, he hasn't fought any world-class fighters. You could fight David Morrell. You could fight David Benavidez. You could be at 168 and fight a guy like Caleb Plant. There's a lot of things that he could do, but I'm sorry, Jason Quigley, Padraig McCrory, and Alexis Aguelo are not names that should be worthy of giving Edgar Berlanga a title shot. I really do respect Edgar Berlanga. I do think that he's going to go in there and, give it his best effort, but it's hard to believe that this fight isn't going to be worse than the Jaime Munguia fight. It's hard to believe that. Now, for y'all who did not see that video or did not hear that episode, it's a nice little hot take that we got going on there. Breezy believes that Jaime Munguia won that fight. I believe that it was a lot closer than what people turned it out to be. Y'all acted like this was a sparring session. There was no dang sparring session. Okay, you guys are acting like Jaime Munguia didn't back up Canelo that whole fight. Let's be real. Go back and watch the fight. Okay, because it was not as lopsided as y'all think it is. I'm just saying this right now. If he fights Edgar Berlanga, it's going to be the same. It's going to be the result that y'all think Jaime Munguia was. You're going to actually see a lopsided victory, I think, if these guys fight. I hope it's not that way because I truly do like Edgar Berlanga. I would like to think Edgar Berlanga got enough skills to where he can pressure and trouble Canelo. But I mean, let's be real. If Jermell Charlo couldn't figure it out, and Jermell Charlo has fought nothing but world-class competition, what makes you think that Edgar Berlanga, who hasn't fought a single world-class fighter yet, what makes you think that Edgar Berlanga is going to go in there and shock the world? Anything could happen in boxing, but I mean, the odds are pretty slim. And even in this fight, Canelo's a massive favorite. So, I'm not surprised that this fight's happening. I'll say this. He fights Edgar Berlanga. He probably beats him cool. If the next fight is not David Benavidez, then I've completely lost hope. Okay? I knew that this was going to be a 2-fight deal between Jaime Munguia and Edgar Berlanga. I knew that was going to happen. But if the next fight after this is not David Benavidez, if it's not El Monstoro, I'm sorry, but this fight's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So with that being said, Breezy, I'm going to pass it on to you and let you get your final thoughts on that. But I mean, let's be real, man. No, I don't think we're going to really be that excited about this fight. It's probably got the same amount of excitement as Jaime Munguia.
It's not only that, but the fact Canelo asked for a crazy amount of money to fight David Benavidez is honestly ridiculous. I mean, on top of the fact of you basically stalling him out, now people like, well, he lost his belt because this, that, and the other. That's fine and cool. But at the same time, though, you can't start here and put stipulation on these guys and then fight these guys who haven't done a single thing compared to David Benavidez. See, I keep telling y'all let Canelo keep messing around and finding out. See, the problem with Canelo is this, right? Hypothetically, let's say you do fight him, which I don't think is going to ever happen. I don't even think he's going to fight him after this crazy fight. I don't think it's happening at all. I don't think Canelo's going to ever get in there. I didn't. That shit has been sealed with me. But it makes no sense when guys do this. When a guy is at his hottest, Get him now. The same thing what they say about Terrence Crawford. Get Ed Boots now. Because if you let that man develop his skills and get some names on his resume, and then you're only going to get older, the chances of you beating this guy is going to shred away. And that's what people are not understanding. That's what Canelo is not understanding. Even if he hypothetically, by some miracle, does want to fight David Benavidez, by the time his guy didn't fought Boo Boo, Andrade, he didn't got in there with some guys. He didn't moved up. Like, the chances are going to be much, much, much harder. He's a big kid. He's going to come at you with pressure, fast hands, and whatnot. It's going to be even harder. If he was going to fight him, his best opportunity was to fight him early. That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's going to happen. Because as far as I'm concerned, as long as he didn't have all the opportunities, all the open opportunities, he could have fought David Benavidez, and he didn't. I don't think it's ever gonna happen. I think what's gonna happen is Canelo gonna continue fighting these kind of caliber fights, and then he's just gonna retire eventually. I don't think we will ever get that. I think that's just gonna be one of them fights where we're gonna have to talk about when we like 50 years old that could have happened but didn't happen. Just kind of like how Jamal Charlo and Boo Boo Andrade. It's gonna be one of those fights where, like, man, that would have been a great fight, but we never got it.
And I mean, we remember the asking price. I mean, Canelo was asking for an insane amount of money. I believe he was asking for like what, 200 million?
Around that, yeah.
Please, okay? What makes you think you're gonna get it? That's the real question right there. Okay, and actually speaking of Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao, you remember when a lot of people were saying that fight should happen in 2009, 2010, and there was the whole argument, debate between the Mayweather fans and the Pacquiao fans saying, well, Mayweather waited till he was old to fight him, or the Pacquiao fans or the Mayweather fans were saying, well, Pacquiao didn't want to take a drug test, blah, blah, blah. There was always that debate as to why that fight didn't happen in 2009, 2010. However, that's always going to be a debate. You know, that's always going to be the debate, and we eventually got the fight. The difference is we got the fight. The fight was the fight of the century. It didn't live up to it, but the fight was the fight of the century. We got it, and now we can finally, understand that when it came down to Mayweather versus Pacquiao, Mayweather edged out and got the win. In this case, it's not the same. If Canelo Alvarez ends his career without fighting David Benavidez, nobody is going to give him the amount of respect that he deserves. Because if you go back and you look at Canelo Alvarez's career, he's had a wonderful career, an amazing career that a lot of boxers would only dream of having. I mean, we're talking about he was the next Mexican star. The amount of Hall of Fame names that are on his resume are insane. You know, when you think about the guys that are going to be future Hall of Famers when it's all said and done, I mean, Canelo Alvarez might creep in on Floyd Mayweather's record for the most champions defeated. So he's had himself an amazing career. I mean, you look at the names that he's beat and the names that he's fought. I mean, you can't knock it. He's had an incredible career, but it's all going to be it's all going to have an asterisk on it, I believe, because he just never fought David Benavidez. And that's the sad part. I don't think his career should have an asterisk, but I do think that he should be fighting David Benavidez, and he shouldn't be asking for 200 million. That is absolutely ludicrous. Okay? Just a real question, Breezy. When was the last time we had a $100 million fight? I think it was Mayweather and McGregor. I don't think
Probably.
we've had a $100 million fight in a very, very long time.
And that was like 2018. That was like 2018 when that happened too.
We haven't had a $100 million fight in that time. So how's he gonna get a $200 million fight? What sense does that make?
Entitled.
And on top of that, look, Benavidez is a great fighter, but let's be real. Benavidez has never won a world championship. Okay? And here's what I'm getting at. He's never won a world championship. He's fought some notable names. Okay? The difference between him and Conor McGregor was the biggest star in MMA. That was a dream. That was a dream money fight for a lot of people. Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather were considered two of the greatest fighters to ever walk the face of the earth. And on top of that, it was two walking, living legends who were going to fight each other. That is what you call the fight of the century. And those were worth I think Mayweather got 180 million. I think Pacquiao got 120. But you want $200 million for fighting David Benavidez, who has yet to become a world champion? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. David Benavidez's resume is not the same as Manny Pacquiao's. It's not the same as Floyd Mayweather's. He's not as big of a name as Conor McGregor. You're not going to get $200 million. The only difference is this. I'll say this, ready? At least we're getting Canelo and Berlanga opposed to William Skull. You remember when that was his mandatory? William Skull, out of all the guys they could have picked, who had, well, I couldn't even tell you how he was a mandatory. William Skull was his name. If anybody knows what William Skull did, please tell me in the comments because I have yet to figure it out. What he did to become a mandatory. I feel like they just pick names out of a hat or out of a box and they go, this is your mandatory. Out of a cereal box, out of a Lucky Charms box, Cheerios, it don't matter. I just feel like they be picking random names and it's ridiculous.
I could tell you what he did. He wasn't named David Benavidez.
You know, as long as your name's not David Benavidez, you could be a mandatory. I forgot. I might as well put my name in there. You know what I'm saying? And get up to 168 and fight Canelo. I want
I'm
payday.
sorry, he put my name in there. I'm gonna hit him with a Superman punch to hell with all that.
Payday. You kidding me? Viva la Mexico. I'll say that for the whole press conference.
Viva, you get in there with Mr. The El Dorito David Benavidez, okay? Enough with the ducking. You've been ducking for too damn long, Nello, okay? It's time for you to put on them big boy pants and get in there with the Mexican mustard. Your fans keep telling me that David Benavidez is just some fat kid with no chin and he don't do nothing. He can't do this and do that and do it. Get in there and prove your fans right. Because I think otherwise. I think David Benavidez beat you, but you got the chance to shut me up. Wouldn't it be great to hear Breezy just shut up for once? Wouldn't it be great to just prove Breezy wrong? Please prove me wrong. Please just prove me wrong once so I can shut up. Because I'm tired of talking like this damn thing.
Don't get it mistaken, okay? Breezy knows as much as me. I like Canelo. I'm a big Canelo fan. You know, I think he's done a really good, as far as for most of his career, he's done a really good service to boxing. I think the guy has been I mean, he's the face of boxing. You know what I'm saying? He was the guy that took it over after Mayweather retired. It was the passing of the torch. So, I mean, he's been great for boxing. However, we keep on holding out for somebody like David Benavidez, I mean, that's not good either. You know what I'm saying? And Breezy's talked about it in favor of Canelo on why he should fight Benavidez. It's because Canelo's only getting older. I mean, the guy is still the face of boxing and he's still, on his heat streak. But the problem is, if you go look at his recent fights, he hasn't been as dominant as he should have been. I mean, he hasn't knocked out guys. You know what I'm saying? He's been dominating them by points, but he hasn't knocked out anybody. I mean, you could tell that he's kind of slowly falling off the cliff. Not a lot, but he's kind of tripping on some steps over there. I mean, you wait any longer, and then all of a sudden you decide I want to fight David Benavidez. It's not going to end well. It's time. You might as well just fight him, get it over with. You know, right now you could probably edge out a victory against him, and then you call it a career. And then we can always say that Canelo Alvarez fought the absolute best and beat 90% of the absolute best he beat. The only two guys he couldn't beat were Floyd and Bivol. But we can't say that until you fight Benavidez. Just fight Benavidez and retire and call it a career if that's the case.
It's like I hear every time. It's like Canelo does this, Canelo does, and you know what? I'm glad the fans have confidence in him. I'm glad. I hope he grasps. I hope he reaches deep down into his social media box full of fans. Take their confidence, ball it up, throw that hole in the blender, blend it up, drink it, so he can go fight David Benavidez. I'm glad. I'm glad that his fan. If you looking, you're supposed to believe he's going to beat David Benavidez. Not me personally. I don't hate the man. I just don't like this Duck Chronicles that he got going on. You know, like and it's not even just him. It was a few other fighters that was ducking the Mexican monster. And Mario, we talked about it outside this podcast. I didn't name the other ones that was ducking the Mexican monster. So it ain't just him, but he's the one that's kind of like that, like the head of all this because he's like the face of boxing. He's a champion. He's getting all these belts and whatnot. It's just it's getting time. By the time we in the 2026, your knees gonna fade away. Okay, your legs gonna be poodle legs. You just it is the longer you wait, the worse it's going to be. Mark my word. I'm telling y'all right now. If he waits any longer, it's going to be terrible for him and better for Benavidez.
Feel like he's kind of on that like later leg of like Floyd Mayweather's career when he would just cruise by and get victories, but he wasn't as dominant as he should have been. I feel like that's where we're at with Canelo Alvarez. The other thing too is after Benavidez's fight with Gvozdyk, a lot of people were criticizing how he might not have the same amount of power at 175 that he does at 168. A lot of people were saying after that performance, Canelo would wipe him off. This is the perfect time to fight Benavidez, right here, right now. He's being doubted. I don't think Breezy believes that, but Benavidez is being doubted. You know what I'm saying? There's some flaws that are being exposed with David Benavidez a little bit. Right now is the perfect time to do it. What are we waiting for? I mean, look, he's gonna fight Edgar Berlanga. I knew that was happening. I'm cool with it. Okay? I'm cool with it. I'm fine. But if the next fight isn't David Benavidez, man, I mean, we might as well not get it at all. I'm just saying, there's no excuse after Berlanga. Who else are you gonna fight? There's no excuse.
Y'all are too funny, man. Y'all say some of the funniest stuff. This man has one fight moving up, and all of a sudden he ain't the same no more. Meanwhile, Canelo had a few performances that ain't really too much of his caliber. Like, and he's still the greatest thing since sliced bread. Y'all are please make the fight at 168 because clearly, like, if we're gonna say that, be fair with it, right? Be fair with it. I'm just saying we're gonna say that, be fair with it. I'm not saying you, Mario. I'm not talking about the others, but he had one fight at 175. If he comes back to 168, he gonna be hitting like Thanos. Let's not play that game. Let's. Y'all funny.
I mean, look, man, we can only hope that that fight happens. For Canelo, that a lot of people are talking about, that me personally, I don't want to see, it's him and Bud. Him and Bud has been speculated a lot, but like, I don't want to see that. Bud's at 154. He's got to bump up 14 pounds, and Bud's a dog. Don't get me wrong. I love Terrence Crawford. Well, I loved Errol Spence more, and then that happened, but I like Terrence Crawford and everything like that, but I don't want to see Terrence Crawford and Canelo. I don't think that's a good fight. And again, Canelo's right in the sense of if I fight Bud, I'm not going to get the credit I deserve because he's a smaller guy. He's absolutely right. Where was this talk when you decided to fight Jermell Charlo at 154? Was that talk? I don't under where was that reasoning? Or again, Mr. I don't fight other Mexican fighters, and here we go again with Jaime Munguia. I don't
Did,
understand what we're doing here. I just don't
did,
understand. It's getting ridiculous. I don't want to see no Terrence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez. I don't want to see Edgar Berlanga versus Canelo Alvarez. I want to see David Benavidez versus Canelo Alvarez for the undisputed 168-pound belt. I can't be more clear than that. So go fight Edgar Berlanga. Go, do what you got to do with that. I expect you to win that fight. Who knows? Maybe we get a shock and maybe Berlanga wins this. I don't think that happens. But go fight Edgar Berlanga. Go win. And then after that fight, the next fight I better hear from Canelo Alvarez is David Benavidez. If I hear any other fight, I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's Crawford. I don't care if it's William Skull. I don't care if it's Naoya Inoue. I don't give a crap. All right, it doesn't matter. I know Naoya Inoue is not in his division. I don't care if it's Alexander Usyk. I do not care. I don't care if it's Bivol again, Beterbiev. It doesn't matter to me. If it's not David Benavidez, I don't want to see it.
bring up Triple G for the trilogy. Didn't he bring him up too?
I don't want to see Triple G versus Canelo #4. I'm done with that. I don't want to see Andre Ward come out of retirement and fight him. I'm good. You can keep that. All right. Canelo versus Benavidez. I can't stress it hard enough. Not Canelo versus Jose Benavidez. Canelo Alvarez versus David Benavidez, if I got to be any more clear with it. So that's the fight I want to see. That's the fight everybody wants to see. After Edgar Berlanga, that's the fight I better see Canelo have. If you're not going to fight David Benavidez, just retire. That's all I got to give you. That's all I got to say.
Well, he must gonna have to go ahead and retire. I'm telling you right now. I don't want y'all giving y'all hopes up. I'm telling you right now, he ain't fighting it. He ain't doing it, man. I tried. I gave him chances in the past. I tried. It's just not gonna happen, man. I'm gonna put it like this, right? Y'all got a chance of dating a celebrity before David Benavidez gets that fight with Canelo. I'm just saying, okay? This just is not happening. But as far as my final points, y'all know what it is, man. It's duck season, like they did with the Constitution. He got his name at the bottom of the Duck Chronicles. This is just another list to the Duck Chronicles in the unlogical order of his fights and however he chooses to do them. But y'all know what the deal is. It's the Puncher's Point. We're live every week. Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and some Saturdays. But y'all know what the deal is. You can catch us for fight updates, fight announcements, specials announcements with the podcast. You just never know. But you will only see that if you tune in with the Puncher's Point. And make sure y'all subscribe. Turn on that post notification bell. Because if you want to be notified, you click that little bell right there, that little bell like the little taco bell. You click on that bell, you get notified. So without further ado, y'all know what the deal is. It's Puncher's Point, Breezy and Mario. We are checked out. So make sure you stay on point with Puncher's Point.